Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya English. India is actually overtaking China in terms of growth. And by many estimates, India has already taken over China in terms of population. And why is this population story hurting China? He was the person who was ordained by God to come and save Pakistan. He actually believed that. And this journalist, Imran Riyaz Khan, put his neck on the line. Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. In Tinghua University, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correct, this is a Chinese university which carried out a survey, and this survey said that only 8% of the Chinese, think that India is a favorable country. It's a country that we can get along with. A vast majority of the Chinese considered India to be a threat. In 2020, this number was as high as 26.4%, which means that in 2020, 26.4% of the Chinese people thought that India was a great country, it was a friendly country, it was a favorable country, and we could get along with India. But this number has drastically reduced. And why has this happened? Let me tell you. It is not just military, it's also economic. And this is a very interesting survey. It's also economic simply because, what has happened is that after China started amassing troops on the border, India responded. China put rockets, we put rockets. They put tanks, we put tanks. They put infantry, we put infantry. They put special forces, we put special forces. They brought their fighter jets, we bought our fighter jets. And it was eyeball to eyeball along the line of actual control, and also mirror deployment, which means that you deploy exactly the kind of equipment and manpower that the other side deploys. Now, China has not seen this kind of a response for decades. In fact, China has not fought a war for decades, but China has never seen this kind of a belligerent response. No, we did not try to enter China, but they tried to enter India. They failed, but they did try. And the fact of the matter is they'll try again. So we put our military on red alert, and the military is there. You see, the Navy is patrolling the seas, the Air Force is there, and the Army is there along the line of actual control. The Air Force is carrying out its combat patrols and, these regular exercises along the border. And the Army is stationed there, physically ready to stop anything that the Chinese do. We don't have any aggressive designs on the Chinese, but if the Chinese want to come in, they'll be given a proper Indian Desi welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is another thing also, What has hurt the Chinese so much is, what is the power of the Chinese? It's economy, basically. That is where China gets all this attitude from, this arrogance from. And what India has done is seriously dent that arrogance. China still remains the manufacturer of the world. China still remains the factory of the world. And India is behind China in this regard as of today. But the speed at which India is catching up. Now, there are three things that I'd like to mention. American companies especially have started decoupling with China. So we had this case of Apple. Now, Apple is still largely made in China today. It's not that Apple is pulled out of China completely, but a significant part of Apple is pulled out of China. And this is hurting the Chinese sentiment. This is hurting the Chinese people and the Chinese government because it's a loss of face. It's a loss of respect. I mean, the Chinese manufactured most of the mobile phones in the world. Now, India has entered the fray. Though India is still making a very small number as compared to the Chinese. But it has gone to billions upon billions of dollars every year. And this is increasing. And where is it coming out from? Even if it is small, it's coming out of China's pocket. And this is something that China does not like. So Apple phones. Then a host of other electronics are now being manufactured in India that were earlier being manufactured in China. Even today, China is a world leader in electronics in terms of manufacturing. But India is picking up pace. More and more countries are leaving China. And that is what is hurting China actually, What is actually hurting China? What is actually hurting China is not that India has also gone into manufacturing. No. India was manufacturing stuff long time back. It's not new for India. But what has hurt China is that companies are leaving China and then coming to India. So for the Chinese people, it is something that has been taken away from them and given to India. This is something that they cannot digest. As recent as last week, there was an announcement that Tesla, Elon Musk's company Tesla, will start making their famous iconic electrical cars in India, the EVs they'll start manufacturing in India. Till now, they were largely made in China. I'm not saying only made in China, I'm saying largely made in China. Now they will also be made in India. China never wanted anything to come to India. It was happy if things went to, let us say, South Korea. It didn't mind so much. It would have hurt, but it was not a matter of national prestige. Now suddenly India is catching up. China's growth and India's growth are two different stories. You know, India is actually overtaking China in terms of growth. And by many estimates, India has already taken over China in terms of population. And why is this population story hurting China? This is the third factor. Because India's average age is 10 years younger to the Chinese. The dividends of this, the demographic and the economic dividends of this are far-reaching. At an average, an Indian is 10 years younger to the Chinese. So in China, you have an aging population. And that's the problem that China cannot cope with. You know, it might have more trained manpower than India. But India is fast catching up. And China has always resented India's rise. And now only 8% look at China as a favorable, at India, I beg your pardon, as a favorable country. And most of them regard India as a security threat. I like this fear in the Chinese. Good for them. You see, Voice of America has, few days back, they released a report. It was an article on their website. And they said that Reporters Without Borders, which is a France-based, it's like an activist group, it's like an NGO. And they said that Pakistani journalist Imran Riyaz Khan is missing here. Presumed dead. This is what they said, and they said that we have come to know from diplomatic sources. We know from diplomatic sources that maybe he may have died in detention and he was tortured. Now, Sialkot is a place in Pakistan from where he was trying to take a flight out of the country, and this is 11th of May. So, you know, 9th of May was when the riots and all broke out. And he would have known because Imran Riyaz Khan, you know, had... And I'm sorry, it's not yet confirmed whether he's alive or dead, but I'm speaking of him in the past tense. But he had a lot of contacts. He was a journalist and he knew. And he would have come to know that they are coming for me. He would have come to know that they are going to, you know, arrest me, torture me. Because what Imran Riyaz Khan did was, he was a journalist and he criticized me personally a lot of times. He criticized the Honorable Prime Minister of India. And he criticized India, and that's okay. He's a journalist. That's his wish. He can say whatever he wishes. You know, we cannot say that you stop speaking, and neither should he, or neither should any journalist. I mean, they should feel free to criticize whatever they think is wrong or right, whatever it's their call. But Imran Riyaz Khan went 10 steps forward and actually became a card-carrying member of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. When I say card-carrying member, I don't mean that he actually joined the party. Because of that, I have no evidence. When I say card-carrying member, I'm trying to drive home a point that he became totally enamored with the personality of Imran Khan Niazi. He thought that Imran Khan was the messiah that everybody had been waiting for. You know, he was the person who was ordained by God to come and save Pakistan. He actually believed that. And this journalist, Imran Riyaz Khan, put his neck on the line. And this is what happened, you know, when on 11th of May from Sialkot airport, he was trying to take a flight and leave the country and go abroad, perhaps to take political asylum there. What happened immediately was that they caught him at the airport, and since 11th of May, this guy's not there. He's disappeared. He's vanished. Without a trace, he has vanished. Without a trace. There is no trace of Imran Riyaz Khan. Now, they suspect that they've killed this guy, the intelligence agents of Pakistan. And it was funny because when they started asking, you know, where is Imran Riyaz? Where is Imran Riyaz? All the police stations of Pakistan said, we don't know where he is, we don't have him. The ISI said, we don't have him. Military intelligence said, we don't have him. Intelligence Bureau said, we don't have him. Nobody has Imran Riyaz Khan. Then who arrested him? Where was he put up? So he's been made to disappear, and Reporters Without Borders, they say that they have, from good diplomatic sources, you know, credible diplomatic sources, they have it that Imran Riyaz Khan is no more. And understandably, he could not bear the torture that was inflicted upon him, and he could not take it anymore, and he expired. I hope this news is false. I hope this news is unsubstantiated. I hope it's fake. I hope he's still alive because I wouldn't want to wish such a death on anybody, but apparently that is what the Pakistani deep state has done. According to them, that is what it has done to Imran Riyaz Khan. In another news, at least 3 people have been killed along the Iran-Afghan border. Now, there is a river called the Helmand River. In 1973, Iran and Afghanistan had a treaty in which they said that, we'll be doing water sharing. And according to that treaty, this Helmand River comes from the Helmand province in Afghanistan and it flows into Iran. Now, it flows into Iran. What the Afghan Taliban did was they started building dams. Or they at least built one small dam and one big dam, I think, if my information is correct. One big dam, I'm sure. They also built a small dam somewhere else. And they're totally cutting off the water supply to Iran. Now, this is against the treaty. So, the Taliban said that the Iranians fired first. The Iranians said that the Taliban fired first. However, there are other things to note here. You see, Taliban has got the latest weaponry from the United States of America. When the US fled from Afghanistan, I won't say left, I'll say fled from Afghanistan. They left behind, according to some estimates, almost $80 billion worth of weaponry. There were guns, there was ammunition, there was explosive, there were Humvees, helicopters. I think there were 1 or 2 fixed-wing aircraft also, but I'm not sure. And they left a lot of ammunition. They left rooms and halls full of US dollars. Full of US dollars. Why did the Americans do that? Initially, Pakistanis were celebrating that, the Americans have run away, and they left all their weapons. They were so scared of the Taliban that they left their weapons and ran. That's not true. The Americans left the weapons for a reason. They left that weapon for a reason. Those caches of weapons everywhere. They left them for a reason. Because they wanted the area to be permanently unstable. So they left so many weapons that that area will be permanently unstable. That is what they wanted to do when they exited. And that is exactly what they did. Now, all these weapons, most of them, some of them have been sold in the black market in Pakistan, but many of these weapons are in the hands of the Taliban. And the Taliban is far better equipped. I'm talking about infantry weapons. I'm talking about basic infantry weapons, because most of what they left were infantry weapons. The Taliban is far better equipped than the Iranian army, or even the Pakistan army for that matter. Because the kind of weaponry that they have is amazing in terms of rifles and pistols and guns and ammunition, etc. They might not have fighter jets, they might not have attack gunships, helicopter gunships, they might not have, medium artillery, though I believe they have medium artillery. They might not have submarines or ships that the Pakistanis have because it's a landlocked country, they don't require submarines and ships. But yes, they do require aircrafts, they do require helicopters, the Black Hawks that were left behind. So this kind of military hardware which the Americans left is now causing mayhem in Iran and in Pakistan. I think this is what the Americans wanted all the while. Yeah. That is why they left the weapons, and now what is happening in Pakistan and Iran is for everybody to see. Now, another news is that, the Pakistan International Airlines, they owned a hotel in New York called Roosevelt Hotel. They still own it. Now, apparently, the airlines is in such a bad state that they have leased out the Roosevelt Hotel to the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation Management for a period of 3 years. In a statement on Monday, the PIA management said the Roosevelt Hotel will be operated by the New York City local corporation for a period of 3 years, and it includes a 18-month guarantee. And what they're doing is they're going to give $200 per bed, or per room actually, to PIA. I mean, this is how Pakistan is earning foreign exchange today. Leasing out hotels. Speaks a lot about the PIA. Pakistanis are very fond of saying that, there was a time when all the Gulf airlines came to Pakistan to learn how to run an airlines from us. All lies which Pakistanis have told their children generation after generation. Everybody used to come to Pakistan. We taught the world how to fly. We taught them how to eat, how to walk, how to dress. I don't know what all else the Pakistanis taught the world. But today, the same Pakistan International Airlines, which is supposed to be, the benchmark for airlines such as Emirates and Gulf and, I don't know which other airlines these Pakistanis claim that we inspired. Today, that airlines is down in the dumps, and that airlines is forced to lease out a hotel to the US government for $200 a room. That is the only way this airlines can survive. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please press like, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata ki Jai.